tonight in his debut at the Perris Auto Speedway. Wrightsville goes to the top. Tanner Holmes to the inside. He'll take the lead away in turn 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to be crossing one off the bucket list. We are tackling the Perris Auto Speedway here in Perris, California with the High Limit Sprint Car Series. Well, we definitely couldn't have picked a better day here in Southern California for some 410 sprint car action. You can see the infield, it's pretty full. We're expecting over 30 410 sprint cars tonight with High Limit, and of course another brand new racetrack for us. Really excited to get out there and get back in the Charlton Motorsports 21. That thing has been fun to drive to start 2025, and in general as a team we're just rolling really well. And it's really important as we've been building each night just to continue to work on what our job is. My focus behind the wheel, their focus with the race car, and ultimately just from engine heat to hot laps to qualifying to the heat race to getting in the dash to starting up front in the feature and just connecting the entire puzzle together. It's super important, and even if as we've been running well, just kind of staying level and, like I said, focus forward on the next race, which is tonight here in Perris, California. But just a little bit, we're going to be getting things underway. Like I said, you can see quite a few competitors here in the pit area, and in not too long these grandstands behind me are going to be packed to watch all the racing. Qualifying is complete here at Perris Auto Speedway. Just climbed out of the car. We have 29 official 410 signed in. So with less cars than some of the earlier races in the week, they were qualifying everybody against everyone in one group. So we drew a little late. The racetrack here, super slick. Like, it was slick from hot lap group number 1 and just kind of started to slow down. You can still make good speed on these bigger racetracks. Even when it's slick, you can run really hard because you have so much wing speed and downforce, kind of keeping the car left and making grip. For me, my hot laps, like, we were in the top 10 in hot laps. I think we actually hot lapped 8th quick, and we just qualified 8th quick. So good start to the night. I feel like my laps weren't truly fair because I feel like we're having an issue. We're changing a steering gearbox after qualifying. Anytime the steering doesn't feel correct, as a driver, you kind of just know. And I had a slight issue yesterday at Kern, and I kind of just like, what, maybe I'm being a little crazy, but something didn't feel right again today, hot laps and qualifying, so we're just changing it because obviously you got to be able to steer the car. So when I'm out there, like, just like I said, didn't feel right. So as you're running laps, like, you're trying to concentrate, but at the same time, like, when you have that, you're almost looking down. So I don't know if that makes sense, but glad we're just going to change that, put that behind us, and now we can move forward into the heat race with the top 10 qualifying run. We should be starting on the front row. So you can see the Charlton Motorsports team, they are getting the steering gearbox all changed out. Definitely not the most fun job to do on race day. You wouldn't want to do it. It's just kind of tough getting in the cockpit between the gearbox itself, the pitman arm, the pump, and just getting it all out at once and then replacing the whole entire thing with our spare from upstairs. As a driver, it's really important. I mean, I'm really glad these guys are doing this because it's allowing me to get back to 100%, not even be worried about it. We're gonna fire up just to make sure, but we got to go out here for this heat race and we have a job to do on the front row.
1 lap to go. 1 lap to go for Tanner Holmes after an impressive move to get by Rico Aver at the beginning of the race. Coming to the checkered flag this time by, and Tanner Holmes is going to get the win just barely over Rico Aver at the line.
Well, I feel like I can breathe a little bit. We just won the heat race from the front row. Started next to Rico, just got a really good start, and we kind of crossed back and forth for 2 laps, but once I got rolling, was able to kind of put a little distance between myself and the rest of the cars behind me. Perris right now, man, it's gnarly. It's up on the wall in 1 and 2, and you can run high in 3 and 4, but you can also run like this weird slider line, almost like this desperate where you drive in hard through the middle, there's just a little bit of grip, kind of slide to it, and just shorten up the racetrack. But man, for not really getting, I would just say, as legit of laps I would have liked earlier with the steering box and all that, we changed it, put that all behind us. It's no fun to scramble, so we kind of got rid of that, went and ran 8 good laps there in the heat race, and now we're going to be in the dash starting the first 3 rows of tonight's main event. So that feels really good. We're going to try to get a good spin on the wheel, but yeah, right now Perris is fun. I think it's not difficult to pass in ways, but in other ways it is. Like, it's just really quick around the top, and there's pretty much ice everywhere else. It's just gut slick, so they probably need to work on that so we can have more lanes. But I think even if we have more lanes, our car is going to be better. So we're going to go get ready to spin, and like I said, try to roll the lowest number we can.
Tanner Holmes ready to spin the redraw roulette wheel. This is a pretty cool opportunity for Tanner. He's running really well here in Charlton, and in all seriousness, we joke about Tanner's vlogging, but man, he has an incredible video and social media reach. He does a great job educating folks about the sport. Check out on YouTube and all social media.
Well, I think I'm going to get fired from my spinning the wheel skills. We got to work on that. We're going to be rolling off last in the dash. You can see some track prep being done. They're actually starting to dig a little deeper into the surface. Kind of an interesting tiller, but man, there's not a lot of moisture in that. Hopefully maybe they put some water on it. Coming from a guy, I've never prepped a racetrack before, but I can tell you this, they got to be careful with this surface. It slicked off so fast tonight and it's so hard. The chance of it taking rubber, I feel like, is pretty likely. So I'd like to see them pass by again and almost just try to re-dirty up the racetrack or do something, because like I said, where the direction it was going in the heat races, it was good. It was nice and wide, but not a lot on the bottom. I mean, there's nothing down here. This looks like it never even had any moisture, but them doing that should help a little bit. But just got to do something to bring this place back to life when it's this hard. We still have 30 laps ahead, still have the beast, still have the dash. That's not a ton of laps, but like I said, how fast this place went away, a little bit of wind right now, all of those, shoved this place towards the direction of rubber, which we wouldn't like to see. It's one thing if it happens at the end of the race, we just don't want to see it early on. But anyway, we'll kind of let them do their job and see what we get. But right now, surface is solid, and we're going to try to make up some ground here in this upcoming dash. just coming back here in the lounge. It's the only quiet spot when we're pitted in the infield as they're running the B main event. Great dash for us. 6th to 3rd. That draw didn't stop us. Just put myself in good position. You know, starting 6th was better than 5th probably. The bottom's just not great, even though they worked it or kind of, you know, attempted to work it. Didn't really hold on. So jumped into 5th, let the guys in front of me start racing, kind of found a slot to get to 4th, and then attacked to get to 3rd, kind of just all at once. Like, a lot didn't happen on the first 2 laps because I was kind of stuck, but then once like things kind of opened up, we could all breathe a little bit, and I was able to pull, you know, run around, I think it was Brad, and then slide actually racing hard with my buddy Caleb there. So, you know, now we got to figure out just starting 3rd in this race. It's all about getting a good, you know, good jump, and then, you know, doing what we got to do these first couple laps to get in position. I think starting on the inside, you know, where I'm at, I'm far enough up front, I'll be all right, but just got to see how the track plays out, and you don't want to get caught in the wrong position. So we just got to place ourselves right where we need to be, and then we're going to make some more adjustments to the car. So we're really close. This thing feels great. Just got to be a little more stuck, I think. I think we can get away with being that, just getting into the corner. But man, the grip we're making off the corner, and 3 and 4, 1 and 2, like I feel like I'm flying. And it almost feels so good, it feels like it's slowing down, like it's slow motion for me. So that's really good. But we got a feature up next. That's what we're focused on. So for whatever reason, we were having a really tough time getting this race started here at Perris. Not talking about our car, I'm talking about the field. Just between the reds and the yellows within 1 lap. You know, we had to do multiple starts. Here's a look at the second one, which didn't work out really as well for me, as McCarl kind of was able to correct what he did on the first start. I think he had made a mistake, and so he ended up keeping second, and then Brad and I kind of go at it while the yellow had came out. So here's a look now at the 3rd start, and that's what's tough, is all these top guys, you know, everyone's changing what they're doing based on, you know, what happened last time. So if they make one mistake, you know, it's not a common trend for them to make the same mistake twice. So these 2 starts didn't work out as well for me as the first one, but we ended up going red again, and they actually ended up just making it open so we could add more fuel, because with all the pacing laps we had done, all the green flag starts, we already were going to be cutting it too close on fuel, so they just opened things up before we could get going again. So we were so close to holding that pass for the lead there on the 87 of Reitzel. Now he's out front, I'm in second, and the rubber is really coming in. Like the track is what we'd call locked down. It's hard to pass, everyone's running in the same lane, and the rubber is actually working off both our rear tires. So as guys start running a little bit lower, like it just starts getting closer and closer to the bottom, and our laps almost get shorter. Now with a surface like this and the whole race being rubber, you have to conserve your tires. So all of us are definitely slowing down, and with that I was still trying to run a good pace using my stuff up to see if I could get to Reitzel, because I'm like, if I'm not there at the end of this, I'm not gonna have a shot at winning. So I was definitely probably over pushing it to try to see if I could put myself in position to, you know, to win the race. And as you can see, it kind of comes back to bite me here as we close in on 5 laps to go. That really sucks. Looks like I think quite a few guys got flats there at the end. We just happened to be the first one to go. Probably in the worst position to be for a racetrack like that, running second, right? Because you have a high limit win in front of you, and you're like, if you can use your stuff, you know, and get to the lead, then you can conserve. Obviously, Reitzel, he was conserving pretty good, and I did an okay job. I just kind of started to try to push it just a little bit, and I didn't feel like I was going too hard, but I probably definitely was. You know, just screeching my tires a little bit on entry, getting on the gas a little too much off of 4, and like I said, it was going to be tough to make it regardless. But it sucks that we lost a second place finish. I hate that, man. That's you know, obviously we went from running second to in the back. You know, it's one of those things. It's a fine line. Are you okay with second conserving? Which, like I said, looking back, I obviously wish we could have got the best result we could have. Or do you try to get going to see if you can get a win? Which in the rubber, like I said, most times that's not going to happen. But I just was trying to, you know, I was just trying to push my car a little more than I probably should have. But you live and learn, and we were there. Wish we could have had a better racetrack, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So we, you know, should have ran second tonight with high limit. Unfortunately, we didn't. You know, unfortunately, we didn't have a way better racetrack. I think our car was so good tonight. So it's one of those things. Like I said, it's a fine line as a driver. You know, do you push it that hard and do you go for it, or do you know? I think that's just figuring out what, you know, when you pick your poison. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We had a really, really good night, so I don't want to let that take away from it. From the beginning on, we did what we could and we ran really hard. That's what these guys ask of me, and that's what I ask of myself. So walking out of this place, I did want to get a shot of the racetrack just to show you guys kind of what we were working with there in the feature with the rubber. Feeling disappointed and proud all at the same time. It's really cool how things have went so far with Charlton Motorsports. I've been having a blast. Our car's really fast, and we are right there with the best sprint car drivers in the entire world. Of course, the result is not what we wanted, but a good live and learn moment type situation for me, and we're going to move forward and we're going to keep bringing you guys along with us for this awesome journey. Deuces.